This is kind of the gap that we in Colu try to bridge. We try to give governments and cities and municipalities the power to connect with residents and make sure that this awareness also converts and become real action.
So what we're looking to do is really to see how we can allocate or how we can help cities use some funds that are coming in to not just help the businesses stay alive, but also help businesses get people to shop there and stay sustainable far beyond this incentive on its own, so that the businesses can then get people to shop there instead of shopping on Amazon, instead of shopping at local chains that are not locally owned.
How we can help residents buy in local businesses in the city, and in that place, what we design is really to have our city coin, which can really encourage specific kinds of businesses that we as a city really want to encourage to help due to the COVID-19. So that is the concept that we are going to issue right now. It's not the first time that we use a digital coin. We did a few initiatives around helping businesses in specific areas in the city. And after being convinced that the tool is really helpful and we can use it to encourage the consumption in our businesses, we are now going to make it the city platform, really take the coin and make it a platform that will combine the residents club and the businesses club. Thing that we issue and we developed as the IT division is really the purple flag for businesses. Businesses that comply with the regulation of COVID-19. You can see how many businesses have complied and reported that they comply with our purple flag. And you can see all of the businesses. You can again see it on the map and be familiar with all the businesses that really comply with COVID-19.
And then 2020 happened, and COVID-19. And, like every other city, we saw mass closures of businesses due to the very necessary stay-home orders to curb the pandemic. But as a city government official, it's absolutely heartbreaking, right? Just something is necessary doesn't mean that it's not heart-wrenching. And like every other city government, we were feeling tremendous pressure to do something. These are our friends and neighbors who are business owners. So we're concerned about them personally, but also very concerned about the city economy. And so enter this startup, Colu. Colu first came on our radar from a couple of different places, but primarily through some connections through national city government organizations. And ultimately, we ended up deciding to partner with Colu to create an app called Acronite. And the app rewards users for shopping locally with cashback incentives that can be redeemed participating merchants. And they were kind of looking around and deciding which city to launch this in. Akron was chosen because we have a very, very robust and well-connected entrepreneurship ecosystem. So, as you can see, and these are really just, I was working on something specifically for non-tech businesses. So these are primarily organizations and programs that deal with non-tech, not even so much touching our tech sector, which is a whole other list of programs and organizations. But we have organizations that are focused on capital and community building and, providing technical assistance resources. And I think that, a lot of times we, especially in government where you're getting pulled in all of these different directions, feel this pressure to come up with a package solution. And it's it's not all the sexy stuff, the apps and the, you know, the interesting tech has to have a foundation of a strong collaborative ecosystem in order to succeed. And as part of the COVID-19 response, you know, one of the things we wanted to focus not just on triage with, you know, helping businesses in the immediate sense, but also really thinking about, you know, once we kind of start to heal ourselves, how do we help business owners who had to close? How do we help them start their next venture? How do we help those that were able to survive to expand? And so we're putting together an RFP right now to launch a new app that is going to take all of the you know, kind of white glove services associated with Rubber City Match, where we're really walking the 15 or so businesses that are in that program through the process of how do you get a permit, you know, how do you think through your zoning regulations. We're taking all of that information and putting it in one consolidated place in people's pockets to make it very, very easy to access. We were also pleased that Colu had experience dealing with situations that are familiar to us, and that our main street through downtown Akron has been under major construction for quite some time now, where the road is completely torn up, closed to vehicular traffic. And those businesses that are located on that main street there have really been suffering as a result of that. So when the pandemic hit, it was like a double whammy for these businesses. And Colu, I imagine they might talk about it later, but had experience with a similar situation in Tel Aviv, where they were able to make a really, really impressive difference for those businesses. And then the final thing I think that was important to us was the ability to influence consumer behavior. And I don't know if anyone watching, you know, there was an article that the New York Times published just a few days ago showing data from UC Santa Cruz that 17% of white business owners are out of work right now, but that number for Black business owners is 40%. So we know that our Black-owned businesses are getting disproportionately hit by the pandemic. And we really, you know, from the beginning of talks in building this app, made it clear that we wanted to try and address that. And so we were able to build in the ability to do that through extra incentives for shopping at Black-owned businesses, and also through storytelling, making sure that we're telling the stories of those business owners and really highlighting their success.
You know, those are people who need a stage, right? And so this app not only just looks at the business owners, but also looks at the ecosystem and different, you know, arts communities, innovation communities, the Black-owned business community, and giving them a stage to also allow people to be aware of what's going on.
The whole idea is really to create something that is really branded with the city and has the voice of the city. And we're using many different elements of gamifications and behavioral economics in order to create this ongoing engagement. And what we did as part of this campaign is really tell the story of these small businesses to the users of the app who live in central Tel Aviv and north parts of Tel Aviv. And besides telling the story, we also offered a 30% cashback with the Tel Aviv coin. So the idea was you go there, you shop, let's say in $100, and then you get back to your app 30 Tel Aviv coins that you can go later and spend in local businesses all around the city. And you can see the numbers, but I feel like one of the things that were important for the city is to rebuild the trust between the locals and the city of Tel Aviv and the local government. And we saw thousands of residents that came to shop there. But my favorite part is actually not on this slide. It's what happened on the day after we finished this campaign that lasts 45 days. And I'll be honest, we were really afraid to see what happens because we had no more coins to issue for residents. But we were surprised and happy to see that the residents kept on showing.
Just running quickly, but the app is kind of driven by stories, and each story really represents a different initiative. So this is kind of the beta initiative. Anytime you shop at a business downtown, you get about 30% cash back. So you spend, let's say, $10 at a local business here in Akron, you will get $3 cash back in the form of blimps, and those blimps can only be used at a local business. Each business has their own page, as you can see. And really, this is kind of the app itself. You see the businesses that are nearby to where you are. So it's really, that's the awareness aspect of it. You can see which businesses, their type. and then the different stories, right? So sorry, it's going very quickly. It's a review, but these are some stories of specific businesses, specific events, specific locations, just to give you a sense of how it really looks like. So it's not only just showing the businesses, but also showing the different community events, different types of opportunities for residents to engage. And that civic engagement component is extremely critical as well.
Our product is a SaaS platform, so it's really up to the city to decide. So let me take another example, which is not casino in Vegas, because it's like, comparing something really small, something really big. But let's say that in the place where I live on the second floor, there is this guy who is a designer, right? So we don't have a storefront, but still some cities could see it as a local business, or think of like a family law firm. So again, this is really up to the city to decide. And I think that it makes sense to start with the physical businesses, with the storefronts at specific streets or areas. In Akron, we start at the University Park in the downtown area, but really, it's really up for the city.
To have a coin which is the city coin and not a private coin from a specific company made it easy for us as a municipality with the old way of thinking to really be able to execute. So I think the shift to the SaaS platform is a very important and smart idea.
Once we decided to partner with Colu, it was as I said, I mean, it was a tremendously quick process, which was absolutely critical for us. Just again, trying to get that response out to assist as many businesses as humanly possible.